The Straw Hat has appeared in the story since the very first episode, worn by the protagonist Monkey D. Luffy. Initially, it was thought to be just an accessory with no significance. However, as the story developed, it becomes apparent that the straw hat is an important item with meaning being just a hat, as this hat has been passed down through generations and has been portrayed in a meaningful way. In Chapter 906, a giant straw hat stored in Marijois caused a lot of discussions among fans. Hello everyone! We're One Piece fanatics! In this video, we've selected 10 significant points related to the straw hat in One Piece, and we'll introduce and discuss these one by one. If we've missed important information, please share them in the comments section. Spoiler alert, please note that the following content is based on chapters up to 1046. If you've not read up to there, please exit the video. With that out of the way, let's get started. Shanks' words in Chapter 1. First and foremost, the straw hat that Luffy wears was entrusted to him by red-haired Shanks in Chapter 1, when he said, "Promise that you'll give it back to me someday when you've become a great pirate." It's clear that Shanks' words are important, but the fact that he entrusted the straw hat to Luffy is also a significant gesture. This is because the hat that Shanks passed to Luffy was passed down from the Pirate King, Gold D. Roger, to Shanks, who is now one of the 4 emperors, and then passed it on to Luffy. Shanks did not give that hat to Luffy, he entrusted it to him, and we think that Shanks inherited not only the straw hat, but also some kind of will from Roger. It can be believed that Shanks put a lot of thought and feelings into that statement. Promise that you'll give it back to me someday, so that he can pass on Roger's will the day Luffy becomes a great pirate. Furthermore, we think that this line from the first chapters foreshadow the inevitable confrontation between Luffy and Shanks at the end of the story. In addition, the Gumu Gumu no Mi that Luffy ate was stolen by Shanks and his crew from a government ship, and it's likely that they knew all along that its true identity was a mythical Zoan type Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. The mythical Zoan type Hito Hito no Mi model Nika is a devil fruit modeled after the sun god, which, despite the world government's attempts to seize it for 800 years, could not be brought under their control. It seems strange that the red-haired pirates stopped by East Blue while possessing such an important devil fruit that is based off the sun god, leaving it unguarded for Luffy to eat it. Looking at this sequence of events, it's likely that Shanks had some sort of reason and intention behind entrusting his hat to Luffy, who just ate the Gumu Gumu no Mi with his straw hat. Who's Who's prison story. Who's Who is one of the Tobiropo of the Beast Pirates. In Chapter 1017 and 1018, we learned that he was once part of CP9. However, 13 years ago, Who's Who failed to safely transport the Gumu Gumu no Mi due to Shanks and his crew stealing it. This led to his imprisonment. During his imprisonment, a certain prison guard told him about the legends of the sun god Nika, which he then gained a lot of interest about. However, this prison guard vanished, leading Who's Who to feel in danger and eventually escaped. Afterwards, he became a pirate captain before joining Kaido later on. During a fight between Who's Who and Jinbei, Who's Who says, "Both the straw hat he wore at the time and the Gumu Gumu no Mi were things the boy inherited from Shanks." This is not a surprising statement, considering the true identity of this devil fruit is the legendary mythical Zoan type Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. However, Who's Who does not only talk about the Gumu Gumu no Mi, but he also mentioned the straw hat. The word choice, inherited, to describe the Gumu Gumu no Mi as well as the straw hat is very intriguing. Inheritance means to take over from a predecessor or predecessors, but since Shanks stole and kept the Gumu Gumu no Mi, we feel that inheritance is not the right word. While it is understandable that Who's Who would hold a grudge against Shanks for being imprisoned after Shanks stole the Gumu Gumu no Mi, it also seems unnatural for him to direct his anger towards Luffy and the Straw Hat, unless there's some deeper connection there. CP0 is still chasing after Who's Who after his escape because he still holds confidential information. There's a possibility that it is related to the secrets of the Gumu Gumu no Mi and the Straw Hat. The Large Straw Hat from Chapter 906. Chapter 906 gathers people related to the countries that the Straw Hat Pirates have helped, such as Vivi and Rebecca at the Holy Land of Marijois. In this chapter, a mysterious figure named Grey M appears, who holds a higher position than the 5 elders, the highest authorities in the world government. M is seen visiting a location where a frozen giant straw hat is kept. It is possible that M, a mysterious figure, is smaller in size, making the normal size straw hat appear larger. However, it is still a mystery why a frozen straw hat was present in Marijois, where the celestial dragons and the 5 elders reside. It is worth noting that the durability of the straw hat that appears in One Piece is remarkable. Since Luffy's straw hat was worn by Roger 52 years ago, it has existed and maintained its shape for over 52 years. If this hat had been in storage and treated with care, it would be understandable, but considering that Luffy and Shanks have been wearing it in various dangerous situations, it seems strange how well it held up. Perhaps the reason why the straw hat in Marijois was frozen is because it's a much older straw hat, one that's been around since ancient times. As a side note, considering the unusual durability of this straw hat, it has been suggested that Buggy, who was able to damage the straw hat in the early stages of the story, may actually be the strongest character. If you want to learn more about Buggy's surprising strength, check out our previous video. How objects can eat devil fruits. We think that it's possible that the large straw hat in Marijois and Luffy's straw hat are devil fruit users. This is related to the Marine's genius scientist, Dr. Vegapunk, who is said to have the world's greatest intellect. Thanks to his achievements, it's possible to feed devil fruits to objects. It's not clear how they're fed to objects, as there's no description of the process, but it is likely that Dr. Vegapunk is manipulating bloodline elements, the blueprint of living things that he is said to have discovered. 4 objects that have eaten devil fruits have appeared so far. A gun called Lasso that ate the Ino Ino no Mi model Dachshund, a sword called Funk Freed that ate Zuo no Mi, some gas called Smiley that ate the Sarasara no Mi model Axolotl, and finally, a tea kettle called Bonbuku that ate the Ino Ino no Mi model Tanuki. Out of these 4 examples, all of them involved Dr. Vegapunk, except Bonbuku. Otis Sensei stated this in the SBS of Volume 93. As a matter of fact, that's the tea kettle that ate the Ino Ino no Mi model Tanuki. It was Hitetsu's prized tea kettle and well taken care of, so when it gained its powers, it stuck around with Hitetsu and Otama. Since it's alive, it can't be put over a fire. It's just a pet that can't boil water anymore. From what Oda Sensei stated, things that are under great care and are seen as precious can come to eat devil fruits. It's like the Japanese belief of tsukumogami. It's when an object acquires a spirit or a soul if they're cherished long enough. If a cherished teapot can eat a devil fruit, it's not surprising to think that Luffy's straw hat also ate a devil fruit or became a tsukumogami, as it's not only important and cherished, but also because it has been passed down for generations. It should be noted that the common point of the 4 objects mentioned earlier is that they ate Zoan-type devil fruits. This is interesting as Zoan-type devil fruits are said to have a will of their own. If the Straw Hat were a devil fruit user, its power might not have manifested yet because it consumed a non-Zoan-type fruit. The Klabautermann. Even if the Straw Hat is not a devil fruit user, it's highly possible that some kind of spirit or supernatural being possesses it, which could be based off on the Klabautermann of the Going Merry, who appeared in episode 254. The Klabautermann is a fairy that dwells in ships and appears as an incarnation of a ship that has been well cared of and loved. For the Straw Hat crew, who had treated Going Merry with great care, he repaired the ship in a raincoat with a mallet in hand in Skypiea and helped the Straw Hat crew by speaking to them in Enies Lobby. In chapter 430, during the funeral of the Going Merry, not only the Straw Hat crew, but everyone there heard the voice of the Going Merry, and even the shipwrights who should have been familiar with ships were shaken. Going by their reaction, we can say that this is likely a rare occurrence in the world of One Piece. Based on this Going Merry case, it wouldn't be surprising or strange for a spirit to reside in the Straw Hat, which has been cherished for a very long time. And also, in chapter 1015, when Luffy lost consciousness and sank in the sea after being defeated by Kaido, somehow a voice reached Momonosuke and the Heart Pirates. In fact, the descriptions of these voices were similar to the voice of the Going Merry. Maybe this occurrence is related to the Straw Hat? It's said that Roger and Luffy, who inherited the Straw Hat, are people who can hear the voice of all things. But it is also possible that they can hear it because of the spirit residing in the Straw Hat. We now want to focus on 3 theories about the true nature of the Straw Hat. The Straw Hat is a treasure map theory. Since the beginning, Luffy refers to his hat as his treasure. Like in Chapter 18, when he gets angry at Buggy for damaging his hat. "This is my treasure! Nobody damages this hat!" Nami even becomes suspicious and wondered if Luffy's Straw Hat was a treasure map. There's speculation that Nami's suspicion is true, and the theory emerged that if you combine the Straw Hat in Marijois with Luffy's Straw Hat, it becomes a treasure map. If this theory is true, it would be the biggest foreshadowing hidden since the beginning. The hat and the dress theory. The second theory is that One Piece, the greatest treasure, is actually a dress. In Japanese, the word One Piece means dress. This theory suggests that a treasure, the One Piece, is simply a dress that Joy Boy was trying to give the Mermaid Princess alongside the giant straw hat in Marijois. This would also explain the size of Marijois' straw hat. This theory suggests a sad past, where Joy Boy promised the Mermaid Princess to give her a dress and straw hat that would suit the Mermaid Princess for when the two of them go to the surface together. However, the world government, which feared the Mermaid Princess from coming to the surface as she was an ancient weapon, prevented this promise from being fulfilled. Joy Boy, who could not keep his promise, visited Fishman Island after the death of the Mermaid Princess and wrote an apology letter to her in the Poneglyph. It would be the biggest tragic love story in One Piece history. If those who reach Raftel find the presence and memories of Joy Boy and the Mermaid Princess, they may start seeking love in abandoned adventure, like Roger did. This would lead to an unexpected and unconventional ending for Oda Sensei, who had been rejecting love stories. And if this theory is true, what is the straw hat that Luffy has? It may have been a hat that Joy Boy was wearing and intended to match with the Mermaid Princess. The hat is shielding the power of Nika theory. The third theory is that the straw hat played a role in suppressing the power of Nika. Originally, the straw hat is to protect someone from the sun. In episode 1044, it was revealed that the devil fruit that Luffy ate was not the Gumu Gumu no Mi, but the mythical Zoan-type Hito Hito no Mi model, Nika. This Nika refers to the sun god Nika, and it is said that Shanks entrusted the straw hat to Luffy to suppress the power of the sun god Nika. Since Shanks is likely to have known that Luffy's devil fruit was the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, it is believed that he entrusted Luffy with the straw hat to protect him. In this case, it also explains why Who's Who put the Gumu Gumu no Mi and the straw hat together in his statement that we mentioned earlier. There may also be a possibility that the devil fruit has a side effect that will slowly impact Luffy's consciousness, and Nika would take over him gradually because the power of the Gumu Gumu no Mi is to be free. The straw hat played a role in preventing it. If that's the case, it would make sense that Luffy did not wear the hat when he fought against boss characters and released his full fighting power. In addition, there is a possibility that the giant straw hat depicted in Marijois chapter 906 was not in a freezer but was actually emitting cold air. This led to the theory that the hat itself may have some power related to the sun or sun god. In any case, don't you think that there's a strong connection between the straw hat, the Gumu Gumu no Mi, and the sun god Nika? The future appearance of Luffy. Did you know that in the SBS corner, you can find the future appearance of the Straw Hat crew? The SBS is a bonus corner where Oda Sensei answers readers' questions. The future appearance of the Straw Hat crew has been intermittently drawn from volume 89 of the SBS. The future appearance of the Straw Hat crew depicts the time when each character is 40 and 60 years old, and two patterns are drawn: the future in which they have aged as is, and the future in which something has happened. The information in the SBS is not always canon, as Ace's future appearance was drawn. However, Since Oda-sensei's ideas are reflected, it is sure to be a hint. In the first drawing of Luffy's future appearance you see in the future of Luffy aging normally, he looks like his grandfather Garp, but he's not wearing his straw hat. Next to Luffy, the word meat is written, so his personality may not have changed much from now. In another drawing where it portrays a future where something happened, we see a future where he gave up his dream of becoming a pirate king, saying, "King of pirates, quit dreaming. Say, you gonna finish that meat?" In both situations, Luffy is not wearing his straw hat. Luffy is currently 19 years old, so in Oda-sensei's mind, he will definitely return the straw hat to Shanks or give up the straw hat for some reason about 20 years from now. By the way, it can be inferred from other characters' remarks that the Straw Hat crew will have disbanded by that time. Maybe they've fulfilled their dreams, but it will be a little sad if the Straw Hat crew does disband. The One Piece title logo. Finally, we would like to introduce a theory about the logo of One Piece. In One Piece Blue, the second databook, Oda-sensei answered the question, "Do you have any secrets that no one around you knows?" with "the secret of the One Piece naming." Since he's talking about the title, the logo may not be related, but if you focus on the logo, there's a connection with the Straw Hat. There are actually two Straw Hats in the title logo of One Piece. The first one is the O of One Piece, which has a skull wearing a straw hat. It's the Jolly Roger of the Straw Hat crew. The second, I, is a silhouette of a person wearing a straw hat. From the difference in the size of the straw hats of O and I shown in this logo, the large straw hat of the O could represent the giant one that was in Marijois, and the one on the I may represent Luffy's straw hat. Furthermore, since O is the first letter of One Piece, it is speculated that the story of One Piece began with this skull wearing the large straw hat. Also, the skull on the O is holding a rope in its mouth. Since this rope is connected to the last letter E, it is speculated that the person wearing the giant straw hat is connected to the story until its end. And there's a theory that the owner of the giant straw hat is Joy Boy or Nika. But who do you think is the owner of the straw hat? In this video, we've covered 10 interesting points surrounding the straw hat. Did you know all of them? Please let us know in the comments if you have any other interesting theories or predictions. Since small details ended up becoming big foreshadowings in Oda-sensei's work, we have a lot to look forward to. We plan to continue introducing theories and analysis related to One Piece on our channel, so please subscribe to show your support. Thank you for watching. See you in our next video.